Hello everyone, and welcome back to part 2 of my video log about my dream. As I said last time, it's my dream to travel the world, and as I talked about last time, this dream is complicated by several things. The first being finances. I'm not going into that. It should be obvious by now. And I discussed it last time, so yeah. And the other being that I have two issues that do not allow me to travel by plane. I also talked about how I want to start my journey off by going to America and traveling through America for a few weeks. And that I would like to do this around the time that Youmacon will be happening, because I've always wanted to go to Youmacon and see several people, among others the people of Channel Awesome at www.thatguywiththeglasses.com, as well as maybe, if possibly, they're there and still abridging as a group, several abridgers from people like Team 4-Star to someone like, maybe if he's there, Little Karibo. And yeah, I'd love to see some of the voice actors that go there, as those are things that just don't happen at the conventions here in Holland, because, well, let's just say it apparently costs a whole lot of money to fly a bunch of famous people over if they should want to, even if they were from, say, the UK. And yeah, it would be totally awesome if we could get like people like Little Karibo to come to Holland sometime for the Abonai convention, but like no one has the kind of money to fly someone like that from, in his case, the UK to Holland, and give him a hotel room and all that stuff, and have him appear as special guest at Abonai. And so yeah, I'd really like to go to America around the time that Youmacon is there, because they do that kind of thing, because they apparently have the money for that kind of thing. And I'd just really like to go there and have a ticket to go see Youmacon for a day and then move on and do other stuff in America before trying to make my way to wherever the hell I will be able to take the boat to Africa. I would like to be able to go from America by boat to Hawaii and then from Hawaii to Africa, but I don't really know if that's at all possible, because apparently everyone assumes that, well, most travel agents just assume that people are able to go by airplane, and if you're not able to go by airplane, well, then you're right screwed, aren't you? Because there technically is very few boats actually going away from America or to America, unless you want to take a cruise liner, and yeah, to pay for a round trip when you're actually not going back, and that's hella expensive. So yeah, after having finally made my way to Africa, I want to travel a few of the less dangerous countries of Africa, maybe, you know, get to see some wild animals here and there, and travel on until I get to the, I believe it's the Alexandria Channel there, that separates Africa from Asia. Sort of, kinda. Anyway, I take a boat. I know there's this ship going back and forth there to take people and stuff from Egypt, I think, to Saudi Arabia, I believe it was, maybe. And then, you know, take buses and trains and whatever other public transports are available there to get me through Asia and heard it's going to be a little harder to travel through India because they don't really have trains and buses there, apparently. But I'd have to find out when I get there, I guess, or if someone is able to give me that kind of information on what places have what kind of transport. And I'm working on that. I'm working on that real hard to find out, because even if I never go, I'll at least be able to say I got the whole journey planned out. And from there, I traveled through India to China, and from China, I know there is supposed to be one point in China where you can take a boat to Japan, and that boat I would be taking back also, because otherwise there's no way of getting home. Not that I wouldn't mind spending forever in Japan, because I just absolutely totally love the Japanese culture and the Japanese country. But yeah, I do eventually want to go back home, because I miss my family and my boyfriend, even though we've never met. And you know, if I should ever become so rich as to do this before I meet my boyfriend, I would probably end my journey in Germany and go see my boyfriend there. And of course, I would have like my sister or my mom and dad come and meet me at some place like Dusseldorf. He lives in Dusseldorf, so probably at Dusseldorf station or something. And then I would text my boyfriend, hey, guess what? I'm at Dusseldorf station. Or, well, I keep contact with him anyways, technically, but I'll get into that later. So yeah, I'd travel to Japan, and I'd spend a few months in Japan probably, because I could spend forever in Japan with all the things I want to see. I definitely want to go see Osaka. That's really one of those places that I really want to see. If only because they have the Gundam Museum, and I really want to see the life-size Gundam that is connected to that building. And yeah, it's really cool in the pictures. And I know I said in my other video, my previous video, part 1, that I don't really care about big structures, but it is kind of epic to see they actually made a life-size Gundam mobile suit unit that is just basically standing there. And yeah, you know, it's a Gundam museum, and between you and me, I want to know if they have an actual Gundam cockpit. That'd be so awesome if they like had a cockpit somewhere in the basement or something that you could actually try your hand at piloting a Gundam or a mobile suit of any kind, really, because that'd be just really cool. And yeah, I like Gundams a lot. Not all series though. A few confuse me to no end, several just make no sense at all to me, and to be completely honest, Gundam Seed was okay because it had a good cast offsetting the main character, but yeah, after 3 or 4 episodes of it, I was already sick and tired of Kira constantly whining about how he didn't want to fight, but he was fighting anyway. So yeah, and Gundam Seed Destiny, the sequel to Gundam Seed, just didn't do it for me. I mean, the new main character sees his family blown up and is practically constantly complaining and whining and crying about how he lost his family, and basically just making me want to go, it's a fucking war. Everyone lost someone. Stop complaining and start doing something. Or something like that, you know? That really just didn't do it for me. I like Gundam Wing, but it was terribly confusing to follow. But once I've finally gotten to see all the episodes and was able to see them all online in one go, it made a lot more sense actually, and I rather liked it. I really liked the, to me, until then, unconventional way in which the creator basically made Trey's the bad guy, but at the same time the good guy. The point is, Trey's works for the Rockefeller Foundation and leads the Oz specials, and throughout the entire series you basically have the idea that Oz is bad and therefore Trey's is bad. But when you get more toward the second half of the series, you actually begin to see that, hey, Trey's makes a few valid points, and he is right about the thing with the computer-controlled mobile units, and that it would be taking humanity away, and it would just be pointless fighting, and, well, you kind of start to sympathize for him when he's actually the bad guy. So yeah, that to me made it a really well written series, and I'm running low on time already, aren't I? Yep. Anyway, I've also seen Gundam 00 and rather liked it, but I'll speed through it. I'm an anime crazed girl, and you know it, and I love Japan, and not just because it has anime and manga and stuff, but I love Japan because it's an awesome language, an awesome country, and it has such strong people. And I think that the last year's, or was it the year before? I'm not really entirely, no, last year, because I was at work when it happened at in a few towns over here. Yeah, so last year's disaster really showed how strong Japanese people are, in that despite that disaster, despite all the pain and suffering, despite having lost everything they own and everyone they know, people still got up and started helping their neighbors. They didn't panic, they didn't steal things from stores, they just got up, went to stores, got out all the water, which was the most needed thing, got out all the food, and just started distributing to the people who needed it. As opposed to when an earthquake hits America, and no offense against you American people, but it's just total, complete chaos, and people stealing, and Japan is just completely opposite, because they are so orientated on working together, on rebuilding what was lost, and you can really tell that earthquakes happen there a lot, and they are used to it and know how to deal with it, and they know what will happen, and they are strong people because they're able to say, well, okay, I lost my house, I lost all my possessions, but I'm still alive, I'm still here, and I can rebuild everything. So, yeah, I'd like to see Japan. I love the culture, the people, the language, everything about it. I just love it. Just not their nuclear power plant thing. I hate that thing. Anyway, from there I would go back to China. And I believe in China you get on the Orient Express, which takes you back up to Moscow, if I am correctly assuming that. The Orient or the Peking Express, one of the two trains, takes you up to Moscow, and from there you can take the Trans-Siberia line, which should take me a good deal of the way back to Middle Europe, around Germany, I think. Yeah, I haven't really started looking up that part yet, so that should get me a fair deal of the way there, and then I'm almost home again. So, yeah. That would be my journey, and I would see a lot of places and a lot of people, and it would make me really happy if I could ever find some way to finance all of it. And yeah, in the next segment, because I'm almost out of time now, I will tell you a little more of what I plan to do during my journey, because it's not just going to be me going there and looking around and being like, oh, this is cool, that is cool, and stuff. It's going to be a little bit more. But that's my secret project, so you'll hear about that next time. Sayonara, bye-bye.